Hi, I'm Lance Henriksen. You're watching Bryan Lomax Movie Talk. Don't turn it off.
Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk, and my final review in the Terminator series before we get to Dark Fate, obviously, which I am hopefully going to see this weekend. I've reviewed this film before, Terminator Genisys, whatever. I didn't review it all that favourably, and to be honest, I wasn't going to review it again this time round because I'd already reviewed it, so I didn't see the point. However, my feelings on it have kind of changed. When I first watched this at the cinema, I gave it a 5 out of 10 back in the days when I reviewed films out of 10. So 2.5 out of 5. As I say, that has changed. Now, I don't know if it's just because seeing a film on the small screen doesn't highlight certain flaws that you would pick up on the big screen. I don't know. But for whatever reason, this works for me a lot more this time around. It's still got questions, you know? It's primarily a result of setting up a 3-movie arc rather than just saying, hey, you know what? We only get one. Let's do everything we can with this one, and if it's successful, then hey, yeah, we'll come back. We'll think of something else. You know, the Chris Nolan approach. But clearly they're setting up a lot of stuff for what they hoped would be another 2 films to follow, and unfortunately, we're not going to get that because it wasn't successful enough. So we're left with questions like, who reprogrammed this Terminator and sent them back? How did Skynet manage to get back in time to where John Connor sends the Terminator back in time? To where he sends Kyle Reese back in time and then change things. And if they were able to get there, why didn't they just stop that from happening? And basically, lots of questions which we don't know if they would have provided answers to. Obviously, they were going somewhere with it, though. Now, in many ways, this does have the fan fiction feel of the third film, which I absolutely hated. But where I think this goes right, and where the third film went drastically wrong, is that it tries something different. It tries something new. It says, okay, look, we can't just rehash what came before. It can't just be one long chase movie in which a Terminator is pursuing Connor and they have to try and stop it. We need to inject more into this thing. We need to go a bit bigger with regards to the overall plot, things like that. Again, like I say, I'm not saying that the plot is Citizen Kane level of plotting or anything like that, but I appreciate that they are trying something. I appreciate that, they're trying to move a lot more pieces rather than just say, hey, that worked in 1 and 2, let's do that again, but with bad dialogue. There are certain things about it this time around as well that, like Jai Courtney, I really didn't like this guy when I saw it at the cinema, and I wouldn't say he blows me away or anything here. He's not Kyle Reese. He's not Michael Biehn. He's not that same guy. He doesn't have the same kind of anything really that Michael Biehn had. However, taken on its own terms, I don't mind the guy. Him and Emilia Clarke in this. Again, I was quite down on Emilia Clarke as well the first time around. My feelings on this haven't changed to the degree where I'm going to say, oh, this is an absolute classic now and deserves to be part of the Terminator franchise. I just think that given my love for the first 2 films, I probably went into this almost pre-programmed to hate it, and certain things that maybe aren't great but aren't complete trash, I was a bit harder on than perhaps I should have been. I had fun with it this time around. Coming into it knowing exactly what it was, knowing that I wasn't going to get Terminator 2 Judgment Day level sequel. I came to it on its own terms, I guess, and I just had fun. I looked in my comments actually on my original review, and a good friend of mine, Graham from Man v Film, go and check out his channel. He said he was in the minority of one, I guess, that he was the only one who kind of had fun with it. And I think this time around, I'm probably more in that mindset that, yeah, it's not going to blow me away, but what does it have to offer? And what it has to offer is some convoluted plotting, which you kind of have to think about in order to try and, I guess, make it work. There's a few holes in there, but I like that it's getting me to think. I like that it's, yeah, again, just doing something different, at least trying. I like how they use Arnie in this. I like the older Terminator, and again, you know, the thing, I said this in my original review, the thing with him growing old, it makes sense, and it was always there in Cameron's original, because we were told, you know, that it's living tissue that surrounds the endoskeleton. So if it's living tissue, it stands to reason that it ages. So yeah, I don't have a problem with an aging Terminator. It's just how do they use him? And I think here they use him all right. I like the fact that he's, you know, this. It's almost like a progression of what we got in Terminator 2, in the sense that he becomes a full-on pops. You know, he becomes a full-on father figure. We saw Cameron exploring the idea of fatherhood through the Terminator in the second film, and here, yeah, they pretty and of, you know, a father to Sarah Connor of all people. Yeah, it's quite a twist, I guess. Another twist, another ballsy move, which I think, again, as with Terminator Salvation, was completely ruined in the trailer, taking out all the mystery, is the fact that John Connor, spoilers, if you've seen the trailer, becomes a Terminator. It's like, you know, he's been the hero throughout all of these films, the guy that is going to lead the resistance. So what can we do differently? Like, what can we completely twist around, turn around, go in a completely different direction with? John Connor. Let's make him a Terminator. Let's Skynet get a hold of this guy and do something with him. Yeah, again, something different, something new, takes the franchise in a different direction. And I like Jason Clarke. I've spoken to a few people who say that Jason Clarke's a bit dull, and they kind of just don't think he brings much. I disagree with that, to be honest. I think there's a lot of subtlety in many of his performances that goes overlooked, goes unchecked. And yeah, I like the dude. I like him here as John Connor. It's a shame in many ways that they didn't get the chance to do a sequel to this, just to show us where they were going a bit more, because yeah, there's a lot more going on. Story-wise, plotting-wise, I should say. I wouldn't say there's any overall big themes that are dealt with, like with the first two films. They are there, but it doesn't kind of jump out at me as one of those films. But there's enough going on, enough kind of playing with history. Going back to the 80s setting is pretty nice. It's kind of cool to see that recreation. Again, throwing the T-1000 in there, in that setting, kind of raises an eyebrow. Hang on, what's he doing there? But again, they've changed the history. Skynet have done something. We don't truly get to find out what that is, because I think most of it was going to be discussed in the sequels. I enjoyed J.K. Simmons a bit more in this as well. You know, the first time I watched this, like, he'd just come off the back of Whiplash. He'd completely blown me away in that, you know, Oscar nominations and all that lot. Really deserving, great performance. And then he did this, and I was a bit dumbfounded at the time. But again, watching it this time around, I have fun with his character. I have fun with his performance. It's something a bit lighter for him. You know, it's somewhere between what he did in Whiplash and what he did as J. Jonah Jameson. So it doesn't quite have the edge of one, and it doesn't quite have the full-on humour of the other. But he's a likeable guy, and I guess it's nice to see someone who isn't Sarah Connor or John Connor or linked to them in some way, who's just like a regular Joe out there who knows that stuff is going down and isn't believed. And yeah, he's likeable. He helps them out towards the end. And yeah, it's J.K. Simmons. He's never going to be totally awful in a film because it's J.K. Simmons. But yeah, I like the character a bit more this time around. Like I say, it's not like this film just blew me away or anything. It's just this time around, I had a bit more fun with it. I was able to relax with it. I think, you know, knowing what it was, coming to it on its own terms, I just accepted it, and I had a, yeah, dare I say, a good time. The performances, for some reason, didn't strike me as awful this time around, whereas previously, for some reason, they did. I like a lot of the action beats in it, some really nice action set pieces, not on the level of what Cameron brought. I think Alan Taylor is a good director when it comes to action. I think some of the action he did for Thor Dark World gets underappreciated, mostly because that film itself maybe isn't quite as good as a lot of the other Marvel stuff, but when you look at what Taylor did with the action scenes, I think he does know what he's doing. But yeah, I liked this. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I say, it's not a classic by any stretch of the imagination, but I will watch this again. I will have fun with it. And it is kind of a shame that they didn't get to follow it up, so we could see where they were heading with the story. What about you? Do you think I'm being too kind to Genisys this time around? Or, yeah, do you like it? Do you forgive it for some of its sins? Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this film. And yeah, do feel free to check out my previous review of it. I have made a playlist with all these Terminator reviews in. Yeah, but see what I thought of it first time around, and whether or not, yeah, you can get on board with my change of thought. Yeah, comment below. Let me know your thoughts, and until next time, cracking.